My name is Martin Gilchrist, and I'm here from Gilchrist and Co. Chartered Accountants. How many times have you heard me saying that? And I'm gonna be doing the thing in the cinema where they're all going and they're doing the meme on the wee. Did you see that on the news, Peter? There's this meme and they're all going to this cinema and they're all being these wee cartoon characters. I'm going to encourage people to go out into the world, and whether they're Martin Gilchrist or not, when they're at a networking event, to stand up and say, "My name's Martin Gilchrist," like I am Starticus, that sort of thing.
So what you want, right? What I'm getting is what you want is a private army of Martin Gilchrists going out there to networking events and standing up and saying, "I am Martin." That's what this has all been about. That's what business conversations has been about for you.
It's about training people to get that minions unite. There you go. Ian.
It's a tough one for me to get behind, Martin. I'm not gonna, but I'm with you. I'm with you on it. I'm your co-host on it.
Here. I'm supposed to be doing a proper professional introduction. Let's get the show started here properly. So my name is Martin Gilchrist. I'm here from Gilchrist and Chartered Accountants. I'm here with my good friend Peter Doak from PDG Advertising. What is this all about? What's it all about? Well, it's about a wee chat. Imagine Peter's got his coffee there. I see you taking a wee sip there as we're talking. It's about if we met you.
Water, just to be totally clear. Water.
Oh, you're very good. But then you're going out for dinner. Yeah. Letting on there. You're being good. Hi, James. Good to see you. What this is about is if we were down in a coffee shop and you came down and joined us, and we were just having a chat about business. So telling me stories, giving each other tips, giving advice, motivating, inspiring, encouraging, and supporting each other. That's what these conversations are supposed to be about. It's not the sort of conversation that you sit and have a notebook and you take notes from. It's not supposed to, although you might learn something, it's supposed to be educational. It's more the sort of conversation if you're sitting watching it, you sit and watch it with a cup of tea and a piece of toast. And you just enjoy it for what it is. But hopefully you pick up something useful. Peter, is that anywhere near what you think we're supposed to be doing?
Totally. I think this is a space for casual business conversations because, I'm looking at all of the people on the participant list, and I know most of you on there, and I know that you're all passionate about business. And I know that if the people I know on the list are passionate about business, then it's likely that everybody is passionate about business, small business, large business, all of the ups and downs that come with it. I know that Martin is passionate about business, and I'm definitely passionate about what I do. So this is a space for that. And just from Ian, passionate about people and passionate about people making business, and that's totally true. So this is that intersection. This is where that conversation lives. So it's not scripted and it's not really that planned out. And it's a space for us to have conversations. And yeah, I think that's what it is, Martin.
Okay, brilliant. Some house rules. There's not really any rules, but give some rules. There has to be some sort of rules. And one of the house rules is try, if you see an opportunity or a reason, to comment on the wall so we can engage with you and know that you're interested and see that you're still awake and that you're really here. You haven't just turned it on and walked off. To comment, ask questions, tell us about yourself, share your website, bring up a point. And we've discussed it before, but we've never got around to doing it. And what we'll try to do is copy the chat feed and share the relevant points on the YouTube video that's uploaded for historical purposes. So if you've got a website or you've got an event that's coming up or you've got a really good saying or quote or question or whatever that is, please do. And I see James and Ian are on there doing the good work already. Please do come on and suggest that, and we'll share it in the YouTube later on. Peter, my friend, you know what's lovely about today? And we had James on last week and we had Katie on the week before, and it's always nice to have guests. And it's just you and me today. You and me talking about our stuff, which is always interesting. So talking about our stuff, what has been the standout thing that's happened since last week? What's been going on in your life that's been moving and shaking? things in the world?
Yeah, it's great, great. There's been so much that has been happening. We've been working really hard on our processes. For those of you that don't know, my business is PDG Advertising, and what we do is communication for businesses, between businesses and their customers, and often that comes in the form of Google ads, Facebook ads, and LinkedIn ads. And look, it's chaotic. The whole thing is completely chaotic, and that's something about these conversations too. They're very real and raw. So there's a lot of things happening in my business because it moves so fast. I always think that it's like we're dealing with the intersection between businesses and consciousness of all the people that might deal with businesses, and trying to interact with people positively. So what we've been trying to do over the past week and maybe month or maybe years, we try to bring a little bit of structure to it, so that we can scale, and that we can, you know, bring our message of good communication and help businesses to reach their dreams. Really, that's what we're trying to do. And we're looking outside of PDG for that. We've got some mentors on board now, which is great. So we're looking outside ourselves and trying to figure out, you know, how we can get to that path of scalability and just growth in terms of what we're doing. So it's been incredibly busy. Martin, how about yourself? How have things been over the last week?
Been good, Peter. Very, very good. In fact, having a lot of fun doing the other usual stuff. One of our clients has, I can't identify, I would love to tell you who our clients are. We've got some really really nice people we work with, but one of them has opened a wee coffee shop, and I loved, they invited us down just for no other reason than to come down and run the best coffee and have a wee chat. And the two of us went down. Obviously, that's me sold right away. And they had a sign outside the shop, and all it said on it was "fabulous coffee." And you know what? It was fabulous. And I think there's something about that sense of, you know, I don't want to talk nonsense here, but this is something that's going on in my head about, if you believe it to be true, if you believe that something can happen, if you believe that something is going to work out in a certain way, it will work out in that way. So that guy put up the sign that said "fabulous coffee," and I went in and I got the coffee, and she is fabulous. No, it was just coffee. If he had just gone ordinary coffee, I would have gone, that's ordinary coffee. But because he called it fabulous and I tasted it and it was nice, I thought of it as being fabulous. So what's that got to do with all the great stuff that happened in Gilchrist & Co. today, this week? Gilchrist & Co. is a fantastic practice. You know, we do brilliant work for brilliant people. We do it really well, and we've done it for a long time, and lots of people know that already. I don't really have to go out and tell the world that. But every now and again, someone comes along new that's never heard of me, and has never heard of Michelle, and has never heard of Gilchrist & Co. We have not met them. Can you believe that, Peter? Someone that we haven't met.
One on a far off desert island somewhere, never living under a rock or so. I don't know.
Hermits and I don't know, people, Martians. And, well, anyway, whoever these people are. And through LinkedIn, absolutely marvelous things happen. Somebody, yes, I can't tell because this person's going to be working with us. A mother of a son seen us doing this stuff. I don't know how she's seen it. She's not I've not known me, not connected to me. And her son is at university, and her son is brilliant. He has straight A's, GCSE, straight A's in his A levels, sitting on a first in his university degree, doing a really interesting degree of economics and Eastern European studies. He's studying at some really prestigious university in London. He's doing placements with the likes of PwC and big corporate organizations. And his mum sent a message to me after our conversation, said, "Martin, My son is interested in doing an internship. Can I send him your details? Now, I hadn't seen the CV. All I knew was her son was interested in internship. I said yes, and he sent me through this CV, and it literally blew the socks off me. I went, wow, look at this guy. He's over in London. He's at the top class university. He's got top class grades. Right, I'm going to talk to him. And I brought him on, and as well as having all that, genuinely really nice guy. Absolutely the person that you would want to have working with you, never mind just as an internship. Now, Gilchrist & Co. does interns. It has interns. We've had a number of interns all the year, and touch wood, thank goodness, they've always been really successful, and they've gone on to great careers. And I was looking at this guy, and I was looking at his CV, and I was going, why is he even looking at us? He could have his pick of internships in London or here in Belfast or anywhere in the UK or in the US. He could really have these big prestigious names on his CV, on his letter of reference, on whatever it is he wants to use that for. Because that's what an internship's for, to get the credibility to move on to bigger and better things. And I said to him, that's my number one concern here. Why Gilchrist & Co? And what he said was, I believe you guys are passionate about what you do. I believe you work directly with your clients, and I believe you do something that I will not get the opportunity to experience again. Very clever for a young man in his 20s, something I'll not get the opportunity to have the experience elsewhere. And that's why I want to come to Gilchrist & Co. I tell you what, that young man made my day. Made my week, made me so proud of whatever it is we're putting out in Gilchrist & Co. If that's what people are thinking, we're winning.
So that's awesome. That's fantastic. There's a couple of things. I'm reading a book right now. I would go and get my phone to get the name of the book. However, I don't want my phone anywhere near me right now, because there are BBC News updates every couple of seconds about what's going on in the world at the moment. So I don't want it anywhere near me. However, the book is all about, I've read one chapter of it, so I'm not far into it, but it's all about relationships. I know it's slightly different to your intern and that, but it does sound like you sparked up our conversation with and that has then led to that, and you're over the moon about it, which is great. How do you it's a bit of a low ball question, this, Martin, for you, but how much value do you place on relationships in business? And then the follow-up would be, how do you create new relationships? How do you reach out and speak to people to build new relationships?
You know what? I don't think you can have a business without relationships. Relationships are fundamental. Ian Sayers is on there at the moment, and I'm really delighted Ian's on here. Ian and I used to be on the board of Digital Circle together. Ian was a great guy. I'm not sure that I achieved as much as he did when he was on there, but he was a really good guy. And to have someone like Ian have a reason to join us here this evening and to engage. So he's asked the question. He says, I'd love to talk about TikTok advertising. I think that's directed more at you, Peter, than it is for me. And I'm not sure, do you know Ian yet, Peter?
No, but I'm sure we'll
definitely will. I highly recommend that you catch up with him afterwards and have that conversation about TikTok. That's what business is about. I had another fella, this guy was telling me he's a PhD, a guy called Ryan, and I was talking to him at 4 o'clock this afternoon. He's a very interesting design business, and he just came on, he connected with me, and he just wanted to chat with me because I had been down at Digital DNA, and I had been interviewed by Starticus about the Workshop project. And Ryan had been walking past when my interview was done, and it was going on, and he stopped to listen. Now, when you're being interviewed, you don't see or hear anything else. I'm just like in a bubble. I just hear the person that's talking to me, and that's all I've seen. I didn't see any. I didn't realize there was all. Apparently, there was people standing around watching the interview. I didn't see any of that. I was literally blind to it. And he was so interested in the conversation that he reached out and he connected, and we had a great conversation then. There's going to be stuff coming out of that conversation. The only reason that happened was because Alistair from Startagus reached out to me and said, Martin, I want you to be interviewed on my Startagus thing. The only reason that happened was because the people who run Raise Ventures had me, we're running events called Brew Crew, and I would have been down there and I had the opportunity to meet Alistair. The only reason all of that came together was because the great people who put on Digital DNA run that conference, and I know Simon who organizes that. All those people are doing stuff. They're reaching out, they're building connections, they're creating opportunities for connections to be made. I'm not paying them, I'm not reciprocating in any way, I'm not really doing anything of huge value to them. But it works for me. And it's just connections. It's just the fact that they know who I am. I'm not their best buddy, I'm not their accountant, I'm not paying them anything, but they just know who I am. And just by the fact that they know who I am, opportunities, serendipity, connections, introductions, online conversations, posts on a wall, on a chat feed on a wall, you never know. What is it? It's like the butterfly effect. You never know where the flap of a butterfly's wing is going to take you. And an awful lot of the success that we have in Gilchrist & Co. comes from those very light touch, very loose connections. Maybe even more so than the people that we see every day, or the clients that we're providing services to day in, day out. Well, that's a little bit of nonsense because most of our referrals come from our clients. But you never know where even the lightest touch connections can lead you. So the brief answer is very, very important.
And it sounds like you do, invest a fair amount of time and thought into just making sure that you spend time on trying to be at the events and interacting with people online and all those kind of activities.
Time, yes. Thought. Can I be honest, Peter? Just between you and me.
I mean, yeah, there's nobody else here.
I don't really think about it very much. I honestly don't have I should have a grand strategy. I bet if you look at the stuff that James Berry does, James is on this evening, he was talking about an army of Gilchrists, after our earlier comment. Can you imagine that? An army of people go out and pretending they're me. That would be fantastic. That'd be a laugh. Anyway, I don't spend a huge amount of time thinking about the posts I'm going to make or what I'm going to say or who the audience is. I sort of have a sense of who my audience is, professionals in independent practice and people that I like that like me. That's who I want to speak to. But I don't have a grand overarching strategy apart from to be consistent. Try and connect, try to, do something every day so that people know that you're still living, and try to be polite and try to be useful and try to be friendly and try to be complimentary. Those basic fundamental principles exist in what it is that I try to do, but I don't have an overarching strategy. I think I'd be better off if I was like James and had really good, well-structured stuff and a really good plan. I know James is he talks about his LinkedIn strategy and work that he's done on that and training he's received in that, and it really seems to be paying off for him. I know Ian would probably know an awful lot more about that sort of strategy type stuff than I would, and could probably give people great advice on that. But from where I'm sitting, a successful but relatively small business, a relatively small audience, I don't think about it too much. I just do.
Yeah, it's a downfall of mine. At times we are busy at PDG advertising, and we, there's just so much work on, and we're getting out of this mode of, there just being too much work and taking on a lot of work, because I think you need to carve out that time to interact and to reach out and engage with people. Go to the events, talk to people, get that human contact. I think it's really really important, and it's also quite enjoyable. I don't know about you. Well, I do know about you. You definitely enjoy, linking in and networking with people. But it certainly is. People are fascinating. It's very enjoyable to do it for sure. So the other thing that we've got this week, Martin, is we've got a few questions, and there was one that jumped out at me that I wanted to ask you. What is the one thing your business has? What's the one thing that has happened in your business over time that you didn't expect to happen? What's the thing that's been like, oh my, I didn't think this was going to happen whenever I set out on this journey? What are your thoughts?
Do you want to know what the burning thought is? I didn't expect this to happen in my business right now. There's a wee message, and I'm sorry to distract from the very good and proper question that you've asked. There's a wee message coming through from Turan at the moment saying that he's clicking on the link and trying to get in. And Turan's a good guy, and I would like to get him in, but I'm not sure what I've done wrong there. But Turan, if you're seeing this,
I think Turan is in now.
Oh, is he? Good. He made it in. Oh, very good. Thank you, Turan, for persisting. What is the thing about my business that surprised me? I think how much I'm so guilty of corny answers, where you say, "Oh, wise up, Martin. Wise up and stop talking nonsense, would you ever?" But one of the things that was really surprised me about my business, when I started my business, I thought it was going to be this. Business is really hard, and you have to work really hard, and you have to be ruthless, and you have to walk on people, and people will be walking on you, and it's a fight, and it's a battle, and it's tough. You have to be tough. It's not like that. Yes, you have bad days, and occasionally you meet bad people, but 95% of the people I meet are really nice. And 95% of the time, I'm doing stuff that I actually really enjoy. And it's not like work. It's not like a job where you turn up and you're there because you get paid and you have to do it because you need the money and all the rest. It very quickly became a thing that even if I had won the lottery, and had all the money I needed, and I've been fortunate, the business is good, so the business has been successful. I could probably retire now. I'm not retired to an island with a helicopter, but if bad fortune struck me down and could never work another day in my life, Michelle would probably think, yeah, we're a man up. But we could. We're probably been successful enough that we could probably do that now. But I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop until I have to stop, because I love it, and I love it so much that it fills me with energy and enthusiasm and motivation and all those good things that you want a business to get in. I honestly didn't expect business would be like that. I thought it would give me freedom, and I thought it would give me money. That was the two things. It was the freedom to make my own decisions and the money to do stuff with those decisions. I didn't think it would give me the satisfaction and the joy that I could be making that up. I could be just telling me a story. I'm waffling on about how satisfied I am. But I think anybody that sees me on a regular basis, whether it be on social media or in real life, would get the impression that I enjoy what I'm doing. I don't think I could fake this for very long. Would you agree, Peter? Do I look like a faker?
No, definitely not. You can't. Nobody can. You can't. I think it's important. I think it's joy. I think there are people who have found what they want to do and do it and are happy. And then you've got people who are working in a job and they're maybe not so happy at it, but they're happy to be at the job. I couldn't do that. I have to be spending time on earth doing what I'm happy doing. And the digital advertising just does it for me. It's exciting, it's technology, it's people, it's communication, it's all of those things together, and it's always changing. Like, I'm not a big football follower or sports follower, really. I enjoy watching a football match. I enjoy enjoy going to the bar and watching a football match or a hockey match or American football match, but I can't keep scores and player moves and transfers and all that stuff in my head, because it's just not what floats my boat. But I could tell you the exact date and time that there was an Apple privacy change that affected our digital advertising to a degree that caused issues with tracking, made us need to change our game, and needed to react and communicate with our clients, all those kinds of things. So what I'm trying to say is, and it's something that Ian pointed out, it's not really like work whenever you really enjoy it, and I think that's where people should shift towards and move towards. The people in our list of participants on this call right now, for all of you that I know, that's the direction that you're heading, and you're doing things that you really love to do. For people watching on YouTube, I think it's important to try to angle yourself towards something that you really love and that you're really passionate about, because it changes the game. And as you say, Martin, there are ups and downs and peaks and troughs, and it's exciting, but I think it's better, forging your own path than being unhappy somewhere. Speaking of something that I didn't expect from the business and the business journey, we've been doing this for 7 years now. I did not expect how tough it would be. I know I'm saying that, I love what I do, and I do love what I do, but it is tough. There's a lot to it. Like when I worked for some brilliant businesses, I didn't respect, how hard they had to work to get it to a place where it was functioning well and everybody was being paid, and there was strategic thinking in it and tactical thinking as well. There is whenever you're the number one in something, there is a lot of stuff to think about that you just don't expect. 1 minute you might be talking about a strategic entry into a country of some description in terms of ads or customers or team members and staff, and the next minute you're dealing with leaky hot water valve in the kitchen that is flooding 2 floors down of your neighbors. And trying to be across all of that, I have found absolutely fascinating, and a real journey to be on. Would you agree, Martin, that there's different ups and downs in the whole journey?
Yes, there is. Apologize why I seem a little bit distracted. I was given a book once, and I used to keep it in the drawer on my desk to remind me of some. And I'm going to ask you about this in a second. Mentors and the importance of mentors in relation to business. James Perry is a fantastic mentor. He runs a mentoring business, and you just have to see his videos and the what other people say, what his clients say about him. Sometimes he shares videos what his clients share about him. He's a fantastic mentor. I'm sure Ian is a fantastic mentor as well. I've always have found him to be a very impressive character, and that's why I'm delighted in here. Peter, I find you to be a mentor to me. I think sometimes the conversations you have motivate me and inspire me, and help me to fight the good fight. You may not realize that, but getting to meet you on a Wednesday here helps me to fight the good fight. But there was a story that I wanted to tell, and that's why I wanted to bring the book out. And the book was called Tribe of Mentors by, maybe you know better than me.
No, I don't.
Who wrote the 4-Hour Workweek?
Oh yes, his name escapes me. Someone will tell us on the chat. That's what usually happens.
Who wrote the 4-Hour Workweek or the Tribe of Mentors? I think it was basically the same person. But there was a young fella called Matthew, and Matthew was in his early 20s, and he had asked me to meet him for a conversation. That's it. Tim Ferriss. I knew Ian would know. Brilliant. So Matthew had early 20s, starting out in the business world, and they are amazing books, actually. Ian, some of them are good. I've never read one the whole way through, but they're amazing. So Matthew had asked me down to the Mac, and he wanted to have a conversation with me about something in business. We sat down, we had the conversation, I bought the coffee, and we went both our own ways. And a couple of months later, he invited me down, or he asked me down to talk to McGee, and he wanted to talk to something else. And when I got down, there was a brown paper Eason's bag sitting on the desk. And as I sat down, would you like a coffee? And I said, yes, please. And the coffee came. And when the coffee came, we were all settled. He slid this brown paper Eason's bag. Obviously, there was a book in it across to me. And he said, Martin, I got that for you. Now, he'd come on his bicycle. So wherever he was coming from, he had to get off his bicycle, lock it up, I presume, go into a bookshop, spend money buying a book. I think this book was about 15 quid or whatever. I'm not sure, but it was money, money. Back out, get on his bicycle and cycle on down so that he would have this book to give to me. That in itself was a generous thing to do. He was giving it to me as a gift in exchange. Not that I'd asked him to or there was any expectation, but just as a sign of gratitude for him. I took the book out, and it was Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss. And I went, wow, thank you very much. That's very nice. And he had an explanation. He said, Martin, you may not realize it, but I think of you as a mentor. You've never offered to mentor me. I've never really asked you to mentor me. But the advice that you give me face to face and in the conversation that you have with others, and just through the way that you behave, I'm paraphrasing. Maybe I'm egging it up a wee bit, but basically this was the way the conversation went. He says, I think of you as a mentor. I will never, ever forget that. And I literally kept that book in my desk in the top drawer, and I'm sort of wondering where it is now. I think I lent it to my son. I'll be asking him about it shortly. But I will never, ever forget that, because Ian said, passionate about people and make people business. This young guy is passionate about people. And he showed that through that one small thing, which really was a big thing. How often does that happen? And it was a generous thing, and it was a kind thing, and it was a meaningful thing. And that is the answer to whatever your question was.
Well, tell me this. So we have mentors now. I would definitely consider you a mentor. And we did have this conversation. If I did need to, it's actually a very important thing in business to know that there's someone, if you needed to lift the phone to, that you could just to talk it out. They might not be able to solve the thing immediately, but like anybody on this channel right now, anybody on the participants or anybody at all, if you needed something, reach out, or if something was going wrong and you wanted to just talk it through, I would always be there to help with that. And Martin, that's something that you've afforded with me. If there was anything that was going on in the business, we could talk it through. If we're talking about growth and strategic growth, which is what I'm trying to do you think it's important that the mentor has experience in your particular business niche, or do you think it's not? Do you think it's a more general mentor, someone who's just been successful is as good?
It depends what you're asking the mentor to do. If I need a mentor to help me to be a better accountant, obviously they need to have accountancy experience. Well, not obviously, not necessarily for all aspects of accounting, but how to do the technical aspects of R&D tax credit return or something. You need someone that's been through that mill before. But generally in business, what you tend to find is that the business owners know what they're doing in their business or can work it out themselves. They have that talent. That's why they've set up a business. And what they need the mentoring is something else, self-motivation, self-confidence, public speaking, team leadership, business growth, marketing, whatever that mentoring is that you need. And sometimes you don't even need to be told how to market or how to lead a team, or you just need someone like you, Peter, where I can sit down and say, take a break away from the mill for half an hour or an hour and say, let's just chat. How are you? How are you doing today? are you feeling well? Are you still enjoying it? And tease out those ideas, because yes, we all have families, a wife or a parent or a brother or sister you can talk to, but unless they've been standing in our shoes, it's hard for them to understand what business really is. They don't know how hard or how easy it is. They don't know the sleepless nights. How many nights have you been lying in bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, mulling over in your head a client complaint or a staff issue or a supplier who's, or whatever those things are. And you can only really, sometimes it's a person who knows who you are that's in business but isn't a close friend, so you can have one of these discussions. So I think a mentor can be pretty much anybody. My most important mentor in life, and James Perry will understand this because I know he's a very similar situation, but I lived for many years with my grandmother, Kathleen. I always called her Granny or Nanny Gilchrist.
Oh, my grandmother Nanny as well. She liked it because it made her sound younger.
Nanny Gilchrist, and she was about 5 foot tall, tiny little woman with the most charismatic personality I have ever met. Now, if you looked at her across the street, she was a typical wee old woman, with the wee hair that we old women have, and she was I always just remembered as I never knew anything but my nanny, and a sweet small woman. But she controlled a large family. Like, she was a true matriarch. Everybody respected her. Everybody did what they were told. Nobody had an argument with anybody else in front of her. What she said was law. I don't know how she made that happen. I'm not sure how it happened. But I was her blue-eyed boy. Probably because I lived with her for so long, but as a very young child. But I was her blue-eyed boy. And over the years, I would say, and I was reading about how important values are in business. Values are important in business, but values are important for the person as well. You have to have your own values. What are you about? What do you believe in? Why do you do what you do? How do you talk to people? How do you interact? Why is your business run in a particular way? And I would say the vast majority of my values came from her. And one of the most important values she instilled in me was self-belief. She instilled in me this sense of independence. You know, no one was your boss. You're your own boss, and you always plow your own furrow. You don't have to run with the crowd. You know, you can stand alone and do your thing while the crowd's over there. You're just as good as anybody else, but you're no better. Now, these are all cliches, yeah, but someone has to instill them. You have to spend time with someone who you genuinely believes in before you really start believing yourself. And that was the person who instilled these fundamental values into me, which I hope now with Michelle and I go into Gilchrist and Co. And I would see her as one of the key mentors. Not now, unfortunately, she passed away when I was about 16. She's been dead a long time, but she's still fundamental to an awful lot of doing my life. And you never know. You never know when you're that mentor to someone else. I'm sure she wasn't thinking, I'm going to be a mentor, a business mentor to Martin. I'm going to set up a whole host of values that he'll then bring into his business life, which will give him joy and success and financial reward in the business 30 years from now. I bet that wasn't her plan, but she still was my mentor. She still set my values in place. And that was, I would say, was a route with a lot of success. That and the point I married Michelle, which also played a big part of it. But yeah, mentors, that's what I think it's about.
You raise a brilliant point about the values. The second that I speak to a mentor, they immediately go to values. And we've built up kind of a value, it's kind of a mantra that we look at every day. We've got focus. Our values are focus, integrity, knowledge, innovation, people, and excellence. But while you were talking, I was wondering, how did we even come to those? I'm not sure. I know those things are important, to us. I know they're great guiding lights for us moving forward, but how do you think a business or a business person can work out what their values are?
I don't know.
Don't have all the answers. So that's not what we're doing here, though.
I don't know. How did we work out our values? I think my values, the values of Gilchrist. Why does Gilchrist and Co exist? That's, if we boil it right down to that. If you've met me before, you've heard the story of the cottage industry for a modern age. What does that mean? Gilchrist and Co doesn't exist to become the next PwC. We want to be like your local GP, a traditional old-fashioned local GP that knows you, that knows your family, that knows your kids, that has a personal, intimate relationship with you, so that when you need their help, they're there to be able to help you, that will have your back and will look after you and will protect you and stand up for you, because we know reciprocally our clients do the same for us. They're there for us. They get us the information we need when we need it. They pay us when we're due to be paid. And they refer us when the opportunity arises to be referred. That's what Gilchrist and Co is about. It's about building that type of practice, those type of relationships that gives a really satisfying, really worthwhile career in accountancy. Now, in order for that to happen, there has to be almost unspoken rules, and the unspoken rules are sort of the values. So decency, kindness, generosity, forgiveness, trust. These are the sort of things that I don't have to list them down, but it should come across. If somebody said to you, Martin and Michelle Gilchrist, set aside what they do at Gilchrist and Co. What are they like as a couple? Now, Chiran is on here at the moment. Chiran, thank you for joining us over dinner time. Thank you, everybody who's come at 6 o'clock when you could be eating your dinner and doing everything else. We put up a post out when we were down in Harvey's Point in Donegal, celebrating the end of the self-assessment tax return season in February. And we'll put up a picture. I put up a picture of Michelle and I standing at the front door, looking all smiley and happy and pleased with ourselves, because we were. And Chiran commented under that picture, lovely couple, or Martin and Michelle are a lovely couple, or something along those words. I can't remember exactly the terminology, but basically the point he was making was we're nice people. And he didn't have to say that. He didn't, there was no obligation, there's no expectation. That was just a nice thing for him to say. And for someone like Chiran to go to the trouble of just typing out the words and saying that, like for him to say that, other people who don't know us would see that and say, well, Chiran thinks Martin and Michelle are nice people, so they must be nice people. So, as in, the question was, how do you create values for a business? What is your business, first of all? What's it for? What do you want to do with that business? And the values should align with what the business is and what you want to do. Now, if I was a debt collector, maybe my values would be something different. If I was a policeman or a doctor,
hilarious. So they might be a little bit harsher, would they?
Yeah.
I can't. Martin, I'm sorry. I can't imagine you turning up at my door and demanding, no matter what your values are. I don't think it's in you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I put the values.
Could be wrong. Very good. So I suppose one of the keys is creating time and space to be able to, have the thought process about creating your values. I think that's quite important.
Yes, I think it is. I was just a little bit distracted there. Could you tell, Peter? Could you tell I was thinking about something else?
Not at all.
Michelle sometimes says, I'm not sure how many, Michelle's watching. Anyway, Michelle sometimes says, we're driving along in the car and she'll be talking to me and she'll say, you're not listening. And I'll go, how do you know? And she'll say, it's just a look in your face. I just know you're not listening. So apologies, Peter. I got a little bit distracted. And the reason I got distracted was Ian has posted something in the comments there. And he says, Martin, but do they not need the strategy behind the actual job? Now, Peter, do you remember what the context of that was? Because that's just tickled my interest. What were we talking about there? Because it's probably a good point. Mentors. So what are you asking there, Ian? What is that? What is that? What do you think that question means, Peter?
I'm not sure. Ian, maybe you'll put it into the chat, and we can definitely take a look at it.
Mentors do have experience in your intern. All right. Okay. Yes. They do. And I suppose it depends on the context and everything as well, Ian. So you can have mentors from all loads of different types of backgrounds. They don't necessarily have to be experienced. So I could have a mentor or a business coach that isn't an accountant that could really help me improve my business. So they don't actually have to have accountancy experience, but they do need to understand the strategy and the strategies that are going to help you in business. So yes, I absolutely agree with you in regard to that. What do you think, Peter?
I don't know is the answer. I'm going through that process, and I think what you said first is probably important. That mentor, you might need them for many different parts of your business. So if you need them for a specific part, then you probably need to look for someone who has specific experience in that area. I don't know that. Maybe it's enough just to have someone to bounce ideas off who doesn't really know. But yeah, that's something that we will figure out in the future. I think we're coming towards the end of our business conversations tonight.
Already?
And it flies. It absolutely flies in. Is there anything you want to end on, or anything you want to promote or go over before we finish up?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things we always say at the end. And the first thing is thank you. See anybody that's taking time out of their evening to come and join us. I call it coffee casual conversations. That's the thing I've got going in my mind. This sense that me and Peter are just sitting down here, shooting the breeze and talking about things that come into our minds. But hopefully, as time goes on, it will become more structured, because obviously over time you can't just do that. But the joy of being able to do that over the last 7 interviews has been this last 7 podcasts has been very important. And Peter, I was going to actually talk to you about this before we came onto the conversation. I go out for a walk every morning. So I leave the house about 7:30, do about 4 miles. I'm usually back for about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And instead of listening to music on my podcast, I've started re-listening to our conversations going forward, just to see if sometimes when you're in it, you don't really get the whole thing, because you're talking and you're thinking and you're listening, you don't really get the whole feel of how the conversation went. And I was listening to the very first one that we did about what it is that this was going to be about. And we talked about a number of different things in through that. And I thought, even if I do say so myself, it was very good. I thought it was very good because it was unique. It's not like anything else. I listened to another couple of podcasts just to compare, professionally put together, structured, well-organized podcasts. I'd have to say I enjoyed ours more. I really did, because of the conversational nature of it. So I think there is real value in this, and I hope other people, if you're coming out fresh, you're sort of wondering, what are these guys at? What are they doing just waffling on here? Hopefully it's not just waffle. Hopefully there's something in there that has value. And if you believe, if you're watching this now and you think, yes, actually, that was a nice hour to spend with Peter and Martin, and I did have a cup of tea, and I did have toast, and I did just kick back and I relaxed and I enjoyed it, and Sharon engaged, and Ian engaged, and James engaged, and Jamie's here. Jamie's is actually the fantastic intern that it's going to be joining us. So nice to see you here, Jamie, as well. Just to have you here is so valuable. But if you thought it was valuable, do me 2 favors. Go on to the YouTube channel. This will be shared on the YouTube channel shortly, and you'll have a link on your feed. Go on to the YouTube channel and subscribe if you think we're worthy. And the second thing is, give us a wee share or a wee comment or something else for people, with people, to people that you think would be useful, or not useful. Yeah, useful is probably the word. Would be good to have on here with a conversation with us. And let's get them on, and let's get them part of the conversation. I hope to have Ian on, and Jimmy on, and Sharon on, and Maynard on, and all the good people that have taken the time to be here tonight. We would hope to have them on as guests, Peter, I hope.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so that's the two things. Subscribe, like, and share.
Absolutely, very good. Well, look, we'll end it there, and we're looking forward. And thanks for people there in the comments. We're seeing people are subscribing, which is fantastic. What I've noticed on YouTube, so what we do is we take this video and we put it up on YouTube. And this is our 7th episode, I think. We're always not sure what episode it is, but what has been happening is we've been getting more and more unique viewers as we've been going on, which is just cool. So it means that people that are here are taking a watch of it. Possibly Martin and I are rewatching it over and over again because we're nuts like that. But other people are starting to see it as well. So what we'd love to do is give people an opportunity to come on and talk with us, like we have done previously with James and Katie, and we'd love some more people to come on because we just like talking to people about business and how things are going. So if you do want to come on, just let one of us know or comment or chat, and we will do it. And Tirana said create a playlist with all videos in it, so we can give you a few hours via autoplay. Without a doubt, if you want to listen to 8 hours of Peter and Martin and guests talking, we will give the people what they want. Anyway, we will finish it up there. Thank you to everybody who's watched and everybody who has participated tonight, and we'll put the video up very, very shortly. So we'll see you next week again for business conversations with ourselves. Bye.
Bye.